Naval Assembly Building. They're going to start assembling the Starship in there. What's the Starship? Well, that's that big heavy lift rocket they've been launching out in Texas. Well, we're going to start launching it from here because it's a big part of the Artemis program to get us to the moon and then to Mars.
SpaceX has regularly sent crews to the ISS via Crew Dragon. Launching atop SpaceX's building next to the Vehicle Assembly Building, boasting a large, colorful mural of the CST-100 Starliner spacecraft in orbit. Starliner can seat up to 7 astronauts, 4 with cargo, and launches atop the Atlas V rocket made by the United Launch Alliance, or ULA. Upon its return to Earth, rather than splashing down in the ocean, Starliner deploys airbags to land in the desert of the western United States. Starliner was the first American...
Out the left front corner of the bus, guys. That is the most historic launch pad ever built, Launch Pad 39A. Every single human being that's ever stepped foot on the moon has left Earth. From right there, 39A. SpaceX currently has a lease on that pad. They launched the Falcon 9, the Falcon Heavy, and soon they'll be launching the Starship from there also. Also in the gantry is a real rocket engine. Every 30 minutes they fire a test fire of that rocket engine. Gives you an idea of what it's all about. You'll see Launch Pad 41, that's the United Launch Alliance's pad. They launched the Atlas V from there at the right front corner of the bus.
Oh, it even comes in a little piece of paper. Crumbly.
Oh, Neapolitan is like all the flavors. That's what that is.
Yeah, vanilla, chocolate, strawberry. Yeah. Oh, so good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Don't feel about bad about the astronauts. This food is good.
Yeah.
Good what?
Yeah. Going up?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
This is pretty cool.
Left of it is the mission launch. That's where we launched Apollo 10. 53 space shuttles and now Artemis 1 and 2. That is the going to be the most famous launch pad going forward when they eventually send astronauts to Mars. We believe when we do that, launch pad for Apollo 11 and 13, all of the famous missions right there. 12 Saturn V brought. We did 82 shuttles. Most of the Apollo shuttle missions right there. We've done 11 Falcon Heavies from there. And that's the one that's are in space, SpaceX. And many Falcon 9 more than 100 plus now. Lots of them. Now, they're a bit quiet on Pad A. SpaceX isn't launching from there right now because they're preparing for Starship. But they will launch again. Alright, so across the water is our military. This is all those launch pads on that duck face Bill was mentioning. Everything down here. Pad 41 is where they launched one of the Voyagers years ago. But now it's used by ULA for their Atlas V and Vulcan Centaur. Then to the right of it, you'll see that other launch site. That's 40. That's for Falcon 9. And that little tube with that crane at an angle, that's a Falcon 9 booster. It's a bit scorched. When they come back, it kind of burns itself up a little bit, but it's okay. They'll clean them up. They'll clean them up, but they will never look brand new. They'll always look a little dirty. That's from the kerosene fuel. It kind of, gets all over it. And then you'll see the other cranes to the right of it. That's going to be also Starship. They're going to put 2 Starship towers there, like the Starship tower right there by the SpaceX building.
I'm aware that a lot of you niggas don't like me, but I don't give a fuck.
Smoke weed every day.
greatest adventure mankind has ever undertaken.
When I was a kid, I used to dream about flying through space. Every week on TV, I'd watch my heroes as they jumped into their rocket ships and took to the stars. And I wanted to be like them. They had courage, imagination, and no problem ever stood in their way for long. You know, in the end, when we actually did send men into space, it turned out that those were exactly the qualities it took.
I'm John Hudson. This is Pad 39 at the Kennedy Space Center. I was a launch controller here when from this very spot, man took off to fly to the moon. It was a journey that began 12 years before that rocket ever left the ground. And it started on the other side of the world.
Back then, we were one of two superpowers that always seemed to be on the edge of a terrible war. In 1957, the Soviet Union launched the first ever man-made satellite into Earth orbit. They called it Sputnik, which means traveling companion. And in a world where peace hung in the delicate balance, it seemed to create a dangerous advantage. Every ham radio operator in America could hear the beacon. People were afraid. Were the Soviets looking down on us? Watching us? If they could make a satellite pass over our cities, could they do the same with a bomb? Our own space program kicked into high gear, and less than 2 months later, we were ready to launch our own satellite. It was being called the Space Race, and we were running a distant second. In 1961, we fell even further behind. Soviet cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin became the first man into space, circling the world in just 89 minutes. We had our own astronauts, and they were eager and ready to take the big ride. But our manned space program couldn't seem to get off the ground. We stuck with it, and on May 5th, 1961, things finally started going right. Astronaut Alan Shepard took his ship Freedom 7 6.5 miles into space. America had its first space hero. Just a few days later, our space program received a new challenge. But this one did not come from the Soviet Union.
Holy shit. Oh my god. Holy shit. That's insane. So that's the one that was used?
Yeah, that's the actual.
Oh wow.
This is refurbished.
Holy shit. That's crazy. Oh, what the fuck?
Oh my.
That's it?
If you look in front of you, you'll see a touch screen. And if you touch some of the buttons on the screen, it'll ask questions, and I'll be very happy to answer them.
Oh, okay, this is all the Apollo missions. Okay, I see. Okay, so I get the... Thirst develops in fuel. Fuel adds to weight. Thirst supports weight. Thirst depends on fuel. Oh yeah. Oh, so this is what it looks like inside. Man, it's crazy.
Furthest away from Earth than anybody else. And so they have now that record, hopefully though, as they said, hopefully that record won't last very long. We're looking at 4 missions. Now, once we're ready, we got in orbit, now 2 of the astronauts get out of the command module and we'll go through that passageway.
Oh wow. Interesting. Yeah. Oh.
I got you too.
That's crazy. I just touched the moon.
You sure did.
This is fucking insane. This is definitely like one of the top 10 things I think I've ever done.
That's awesome. There's the little capsule.
Oh shit.
And it goes splashing down, I believe.
That's crazy. That's all. It takes all this just to get that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't know it was like liquid hydrogen either. I thought it was just like gasoline. I guess I thought they just fucking put the thing full of gas.
It was all filmed, right?
Yeah. Oh.
Because you know it wasn't real. Come on.
Yeah. If there wasn't enough evidence that it wasn't real. Wow. Oh wow.
We were making up for it in one big leap.
And we were doing it with a rocket that no man had ever flown before. It was a few days before Christmas, 1968, when Apollo 8 sat on the pad. She was the first of a new kind, a moon rocket. This was the Phoenix, risen from the ashes of Apollo 1. The first Apollo crew did not die in vain. This was to be their testament. Stories high. She had been fully fueled throughout the night. The liquid oxygen in her tanks caused ice to form on the outside of the craft. The extreme temperature differences between the air and the sub-zero fuel caused the metal skin of the rocket to expand and contract. Everyone was on the pad agreed. It was as though the rocket was alive, breathing, straining for reach. Earlier in the morning, astronauts Frank Borman, Jim Lovell, and Bill Anders had made their final preparations before taking that long ride out to the main spacecraft. The minimum safe distance from Saturn V at liftoff was 3 miles. The reason was simple. When fully fueled, the rocket contained the explosive power of an atomic bomb. As the clock counted down, the astronauts and all of us in launch control went through the pre-flight checks, our hands on the controls of the most powerful, most complex machine ever built. It had over 2 million separate systems, and to bring these men back alive, everything had to work perfectly. Each individual system had been tested, but what we didn't know was how we would perform when all 2 million began to work together. That moment would come when the countdown clock reached 0. If a maneuvering thruster failed, if communications broke down, if navigation was off by 1 degree, if any piece of the miles of wiring, circuits, relays, or valves was defective, Frank Borman, Jim Lovell, and Bill Anders would pay with their lives. As they said,
60 seconds from counting, the vehicle now is completely pressurized. They're coming up on Apollo transfer shortly. We have the power transfer. We're now on the flight batteries within the launch vehicle. Final reports coming from Frank Borman at this time. Final look at the switch aboard the spacecraft. 20 seconds, RSX, we are still to go at this time. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. Sequence start. The engines are on. 4, 3, first spacecraft, Apollo 8. We were the first men to see the surface of the moon from just a few miles away. But it was the hundreds of thousands of men and women who worked with the team, the millions of people who saw.
Oh wow. That's insane. That's crazy. Oh wow. Holy shit. That's crazy. Insane. Let me go to the front. I know, yeah. That's crazy.
This bad boy's been in space, dude.
I know, that's crazy.
Otros 11 bonitos que veo en San Juan, disfrutando de todas esas cosas que extrañan los que se van, disfrutando de noches de esas que ya no se dan, pero queriendo volver a la última vez. Ya los ojos te miré y contarte las cosas que no te conté.
¿Te parece a mi crush?
Y tirarte las fotos que no te tiré.
Hacho brote, bien linda, déjame traerte una foto.
Ey, tengo el pecho pelado, me dio una mata, el corazón dándome patas. Dime, baby, ¿dónde tú estás? Pa' llegarle con Roro, Julito, Cristal, Roy, Edgar, Seba, Oscar, Darnell y Big J tocando bata. Hoy la calle la dejamos esbarata.
Y sería cabrón que tú me toques el guiro.
Yo veo tu nombre y me salen suspiros. No sé si son petardos o si son tiros. Mi blanquita, perico, mi kilo. Yo estoy en PR tranquilo, pero debí tirar más fotos de cuando te tuve. Debí darte más besos y abrazos las veces que pude. Ey, ojalá que los míos nunca se muden. Y si hoy me emborracho, pues que me ayuden.
You to breathe me. Let me be your air. Let me roam your body freely. No inhibition, no fear. How deep is your love?